Okay. So, hi everyone. Welcome to the class. So today we have just one question from Sarah. I have a question about interacting with others and thoughts, if you don't mind addressing in one of your sessions. I think with growing awareness of my thoughts, I realize how much I see and interact with others through a fog of thoughts. You have spoken of this many times in your talks about how we don't really see others most of the time, but we deal with people based on our perceptions, the story we have told ourselves about others. From the perspective of meditation practice, like cultivating presence with people, and our implementation of the teachings in everyday life, do you have any recommendations on how to interact with people in a way that brings more awareness to the stories we tell ourselves and or helps us to set these aside and be present when interacting with others? I imagine kindness and compassion figures into this greatly, but I wanted to hear your perspective. So, okay, I have a question about interacting with others and thoughts. For most of us, there is not much of a difference. That when we see others, then we mostly see our own thoughts of them. We don't really see other people. We see what we think about them. We see our own perceptions of them. And those perceptions are something that is conditioned. It is something that we have learned when we grow up from early childhood on, when we are little. When we start learning things about life, like look at these people, they are the good ones. Look at those people, they are the bad ones. Everyone who approaches you with a smile, be careful, don't trust people easily, etc., etc. So we learn these kind of things, and then these perceptions become very strong, very firm part of ourselves. And so instead of seeing those perceptions, we're seeing through these perceptions. Sarah says that very nicely here. I see and interact with others through a fog of thoughts. Yes, that's very accurate. So we see others based on our perceptions or the story we have told ourselves about others. That story that we tell ourselves about others, where does it come from? And what kind of story is that? So as I already said, it's something that we have learned, that we have picked up from other people. But it's also something that the way we see ourselves, that others appear to us. Some other people appear very unpleasant to us. There's some aspect that appears very unpleasant to ourselves, is because that aspect is resonating with something inside of ourselves that matches up with it. If you have a string, then it can be pulled, can be plucked, right? And it will make a sound. So essentially what other people do continuously, they just pull your strings and create sounds inside of you. There is nothing much to be done about this. It's enough to become aware of it. So it is neither about expressing our emotions which might arise, like let's say an emotion arises as the sound. You feel like someone is talking with you and you feel incredibly bored. So that person is then talking to the bored aspect of yourself. It's quite obvious that then within yourself there is boredom. And that's what's interesting. This is what needs our attention and our awareness. This boredom need not to be expressed, and it need not to be suppressed. It simply needs attention, that's it. If we have delusions within our mind, delusion is everything which keeps us from seeing truth and which is disturbing to mental quietude and peace for ourselves and other people. If such a delusion arises and we are either expressing it or suppressing it, we're creating further trouble. So let's say, for example, you get annoyed with someone. Then is it proper to express the annoyance to the other person? Or is it rather becoming more complicated, more of a hurtful story? Does it spread the hurt? It's a bit like having a virus, Coughing might feel like a relief, but if you just cough without any protection in front of your mouth, all you do is spreading the virus, so soon more people will cough. Spreading our anger or spreading our delusions is not something worthwhile spreading. So we want to bring in awareness into this, so that we see, for example, when there is annoyance arising, then we notice that. So the way I talk with other people is I always kind of watch my feeling, because it's easy to watch. Watching my thoughts is a bit more difficult, while talking to someone else is more difficult. But watching my feelings is fairly easy. I notice the way I feel. What's the person talking to? Is there boredom? Is there tiredness? Is there kindness? What is arising? What is the other person triggering inside of you? What is the other person waking up inside of you, which is normally in sleeping mode, right? So this is why it's so precious to have other people around us who are continuously showing us what's dormant in our own selves. So if we're never really challenged, we're never really developing any skills. So it is very important to have interaction with other people, for precisely that reason, that other people show you where there is a need for more awareness. So it's pretty good to live kind of a city life as someone who meditates. Living in a cave is also good at some points, Living in the proverbial cave, like going into retreats or something like this is also good. We should also do that. But it's also very good having interaction, having people pushing your buttons, challenging you deeply. And some people, they make you intensely happy. Other people make you really angry. So if we bring in awareness, then we have a choice. Normally expressing our anger or suppressing it appears like having a choice, but it's not really a choice. We can't help it. We are kind of under the influence of this delusion. It's like being under the influence of a drug. You can't help doing weird stuff when you're under the influence of drugs. You can't help but wobble if you're drunk. It's not like a choice. It's not like, when I'm drunk, I'm choosing to wobble around and look very funny and say very nonsensical things to other people. It's not really a choice. It's the alcohol acting through you. Also, when we are angry, then it's not really our choice to express that anger or for other people suppress it. Not really a choice. We do that automatically. For some people, they think anger is bad. I need to get rid of it. I need to suppress it. I need to kind of kill it off. And then they go into very arduous practical sessions of trying to kill off their anger, but it's nothing but tension. It's nothing but complication. And other people, they are expressing their anger. Some psychologist tells them, go into the forest, shout at the trees, punch a pillow, or confront the person who makes you angry with your anger, etc., etc. And all that does is basically it trains and reinforces the habit of anger. It doesn't delete it. Anger is not also an energy that can be stored. So people think, if I'm not expressing my anger, then it builds up and gets stored. It's not that case. Energy cannot be stored. It can only be created as a habit often and all the time. So some people, they are very readily creating anger all the time. Some other people readily create depression as a very great skill all the time. Others have mindfulness as that habit. So that is something very powerful, to have mindfulness as that habit. And that's exactly what we cultivate in practice. We're cultivating, instead of blindly expressing or suppressing, we're bringing in awareness, clarity, knowledge. And gradually, over the time, we kind of trust this knowing quality, the knower, which is known as the Pali word is Buddho, the one who knows. Buddha is the awakened one. So for Buddha to become obvious or to be recognized, we simply have to become aware of this. We have to recognize this awake quality within ourselves, which is there all the time. It's all the time there. There's never a time when there is not this awake quality within our heart. It's always there. So we can always notice it. Step back and notice, yes, there is anger, there is this emotion, but yet at the same time, there's also something that's aware that there is anger. That's already great. If you can become aware while you're angry, it's wonderful. Most people in the beginning of our practice, we become aware after the anger has happened. And after sometimes even when we've already expressed it, and we stand in front of all the burning houses, my own house is burned, the house of the neighbors are burned already, and suddenly we realize, oh, there was a fire. It's good in terms of, okay, what can I avoid the next time to spread this fire, to allow it to spread? So we bring in more and more mindfulness. So we realize earlier and earlier. So when your own house burns, you realize, oh, it burns. I need to stop the fire right now before it goes over to the neighbor's house. That's already much better. And sometimes, when the fire has just started in the kitchen, you can quickly do something about it. If you have mindfulness, you can quickly extinguish it. Much better even. And some people, they do some sort of responsible cooking. There's no fire arising there. They're not playing around with some dangerous chemicals in the kitchen or something like this, so there's no problem there. That's the best, of course. So we have mindfulness setting in before anger can even arise. For example, like you talk with this person that is highly annoying to you, let's say your boss, and you know it's very likely to get annoyed and angry when I'm around this person or talk with this person. There's two things you can do. If you cannot handle yourself, don't spend time with such people. But if you can handle yourself, if your mindfulness is more strong than their annoying qualities, then use them as training. Each time they arise in your life as that person in front of you, they come into your mindfulness, into your aware field, there is a chance to relax. And that's what practice is all about. You open up to your own experience of tension and you answer with relaxation. So where your heart usually goes, becomes tense, you now do this. You open up. You give it space. You give your emotion, your thoughts, etc. You simply give it space. You say, recognize that. I'm a human being, therefore there are these emotions. I'm an emotional being, therefore there are emotions, right? We're not trying to be perfect. We simply bring in mindfulness of the way things are. Seeing it is like this. All right, anger is like this. Now let's have a look at it. So by bringing in this awake quality, if you still have difficulty giving it so much space that it simply dissolves, if your space is still a little bit limited and you kind of pop in and out of the knowing, it's like sometimes you're a bit angry and annoyed, then again you suddenly step out and know again, then it's maybe a wise idea to say, let's talk later. It's always good to, for example, if I'm getting annoyed by Pan, if she does something that annoys me, or I do something that annoys her, then usually we don't talk, because it makes it worse. It makes more and more stories. It creates more and more complications for nothing. Most of the things that we talk with other people, they are forgotten. It's like reading newspapers. What did you read in last week's newspaper? What did you read on your Facebook wall last week? It's gone. Even sometimes what has been there yesterday is already gone. We don't know it anymore. because it's irrelevant. It's just noise. Similarly, talking with other people endlessly about our problems, it just reinforces problem making. It doesn't reinforce stillness and peace. It reinforces conflict and crashing points. Therefore, with some people, it's a wise idea not to talk so much, because they pull you down. With some people, it's a good idea to spend much time because they uplift you. Notice some people around you, they are great for your health. They make you happy, they give you great inspiring ideas, they lead a healthy lifestyle, and so forth. If you spend time with such people, your life will improve. It's good to spend time with these people. If you spend time with others, sometimes, your life goes downhill, becomes worse and worse. Then not so good to spend time with them. Not a good idea. If your mindfulness is not strong and powerful, don't hang around depressed people much. If your mindfulness is very strong, you will uplift depressed people. You will uplift those who are angry. You will help. You will give good influence, good guidance, good help. Quite naturally. That's how it works. It depends what's stronger. Is the delusion of another person stronger, or your own delusion stronger, or is your mindfulness stronger? Is it more powerful? Does it have more space to contain even wild, crazy states of mind? It's all about offering space to our experiences. And other people are great for that. They teach us exactly where we have no space for ourselves. And where we crash into ourselves. Oh, I have to be perfect. I shouldn't get angry. Here. There you go. Right there. You have some sort of bizarre idea that you should not get angry. But there is anger. So what would honesty do? Honesty would simply give it space. Anger is like this. Let's have a look at it. Let's wait. If you wait, what will happen with your anger? You just sit down and wait. Well, it will fade. It'll go away. What will happen if you discuss it? You prolong it. It becomes more complicated. It's just anger, is just an emotion. Release it, relax, enjoy your life. There's no point in holding on to something which is painful, holding on to. So we let it go right away. There's this little story of two monks who are going on alms round. And if you know Thai monks, they are not allowed to touch women. They cannot touch women. But they can spend time with women but not touch them. So if these two monks, they come back from their alms round and they walk peacefully towards the monastery, and there is this kind of river crossing. And they come to this river crossing, and there's this beautiful young woman on the right side somewhere, and she's scared to cross the river. She cannot cross the river. The stream is too strong, and she has a lot of stuff to carry. And so one of the monks just doesn't think much, goes over there. He picks her up and brings her on the other side. He puts her down and finished. And so they walk on. And as they finally come back to the monastery, they open the gate. The friend of this monk is like, I can't contain it anymore. I just have to talk with you right now. Did you picked up this woman? Why did you do this? You just broke your vow. Why would you do something like this? You're a monk. You're supposed to stay away from women. You're supposed not to touch them, etc. So why did you do this? I just can't believe it. And so the first monk's answer is, oh, you're still holding her? You're still carrying her around? It's not so much about the formality of not touching a woman. It's attaching. That's the problem. And for many, many monks, it's very easy to become attached. So that's why it's good to have some sort of framework or rule work which keeps them far from such dangers of attachment. So they can spend a relaxed time just focusing on their spiritual practice only, not being carried away by anything else. So it's good to have some sort of rule work or framework, some guidance in our life that makes sure that our life stays peaceful and enough challenging so we can progress. We give ourselves like some sort of framework, like for example, not to lie, to commit to honesty, or not to be harmful to ourselves or others in any way, to commit to harmlessness. These kind of things, they're very helpful. Not to disturb other people in speech or action in any way, trying to be decent, calm, leading a noble life. So a life in which meditation is easy to cultivate and awareness is easy to cultivate. Sometimes it's difficult to cultivate or bring in more awareness for other people when we talk with them and our perceptions of them, because there's just too much noise. We're flooded by noise. Our minds are flooded by stuff. So it's very difficult to get a bit of a distance and actually see ourselves. So then we should create some framework that allows to create this distance to see ourselves a bit better. So Sarah is also, let me just check. How to interact with people in a way that brings more awareness to the stories we tell ourselves and or helps us to set these aside and be present when interacting with others. Okay, we clarified that, I think, and then I imagine kindness and compassion figures into this greatly. Absolutely. I do believe that it's an act of great kindness to give yourself space. And it's very compassionate to give yourself space. You and your emotions, you and your thoughts, giving that some space, leaving it alone. Neither acting it out nor trying to get rid of it. I repeat that. Neither acting it out nor trying to get rid of it. Just leave it. Don't do anything to it. Don't do anything about it. Just simply give it space. There is anger. And so you give that anger some space. You feel it. Where do you feel it in your body, this anger? I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my belly, in my solar plexus. There's this contraction. It's very unpleasant. So what I do is I relax, I open up to it, and I allow it to melt. And I stay with this unpleasant feeling. I create a different kind of habit. A habit of giving space. Not the habit of buying into it. So we learn to relax like this. And yes, it's not easy. If there is great anger, if there is great annoyance, it's not easy. That's why with some people, before we create more problems in our life, it's better to stay away from them until your mindfulness is strong enough to handle them. For some people, you can handle them already. And it's not about handling other people, by the way, it's just handling our own perception of them by giving it space. Just leaving it alone. So in a way, it's very interesting to talk with other people. It in fact reveals exactly those spots where you're not kind with yourself, where you're not compassionate with yourself. Let's say you talk with another person, you become very judgmental. What a freak, Why would he say that? This is strange. I better don't spend any more time with him. here there is judgment in this kind of very negative way, and you can realize that this judgment is within yourself, and you will also realize that is maybe one of the attitudes with which you are seeing yourself. I shouldn't be like this. I should be totally normal all the time. I should be totally composed all the time and very well settled and well behaved. And so you see that in other people. Like, oh, he's not very settled, she's not very well behaved. Because it matters to you. And it creates tension. Therefore, here is the opportunity to see, here I'm not kind to myself, I'm tensing up here. And creating tension in your mind is not very kind. It's not very healthy either. So we relax. So that's basically it. It's very kind to bring in more awareness into our own emotional, mental and physical bodies. Is there any question? Any more question? Yes.
I have one question. There's one, I think it's a judgment that I seem to not want to let go, and that's towards dishonesty. I feel within myself that honesty is the way to go. So, especially with people close to me, if they're dishonest, I still feel tension, a lot of tension, and I'm not sure how to deal with that.
About dishonesty. So if you see dishonest people, it hurts.
Especially when they're close to me.
Yes. Yeah. Also, that is quite a normal, regular response, right?
I know.
If you feel like this and you cannot handle it, then maybe not so good to stay with dishonest people. I think in general it's not good to spend time with people that are dishonest. Another thing to contemplate is that most people don't really make a decision here. Well, today I'm going to be dishonest, right? They are scared of something. Right? So they kind of automatically want to protect themselves. They don't want to suffer. So how about yourself? Do you want to suffer? Or also not? No, so you're just like them.
Yeah.
We're just two human beings. Let's say I'm dishonest with you and you're kind of annoyed by that. Can you see that I am someone that is scared, insecure, and that I don't want to suffer? Yes. Yeah. And can you see that you have the same qualities inside of you?
Yeah, I do. And I recognize them because
very good.
I'm sure it happened to me in the past as well. Yeah.
Very good. So it really helps to see that. Whenever we find fault with other people, immediately recognize that we are subject to this kind of actions too. Yeah. It's just that the right circumstances have not yet arisen, fortunately. Yeah. So this kind of potential is not active within ourselves, but there is a potential for it. So as long as this potential is there, we should recognize, okay, we're all just human beings that try to kind of get along with each other. And so then in comes the quality of understanding and forgiveness. Yeah. So from judging, we go to forgiveness, which is the direct antidote to judging someone else.
There is also another idea.
Yes?
That has to do with resonance. You could look at that, why you go into resonance to exactly those people.
Exactly, yeah.
In this case, it happened to me a few times in the past couple of years with a person that I wanted to connect to intimately. And I felt dishonesty that I saw the other person was getting in the way. So I've been choosing to just stay single. And I'm kind of struggling with, it works for me and I'm fine being single, but on the other hand I'd rather it's quite easy to see, well, they're being dishonest. I'd rather not be around those people.
Yes.
But there's so few people who are capable of staying true to themselves.
Yes.
So that leaves me kind of with an issue in the
Yes.
relationship department.
Yes. This not being able to stay true to oneself, I think this is very, very few people.
Yeah.
Very few people. Because absolutely being honest to yourself requires mental stillness. Because every word the mind utters is learned. It's dishonest. Every idea, everything that we believe to be true is dishonest because it's some sort of learned perception.
Exactly.
So we can, in fact, only be truly honest to ourselves if the mind quietens down completely. There's no more chatter. There's simply just awareness of the way things are. That's very honest. And in that space, there is also no problem with other people. In fact, in that space, there are no other people.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's my point exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
So then you can either see that we are all one in having the same kind of potentials and qualities and spinning around in this kind of messy circle. In that way, it can help to forgive, to understand. And then I would just confront being with these kind of people if you feel up to it, and cultivating exactly these qualities, cultivating the knowledge that, well, honesty means complete quietude. Am I quiet in the mind right now? And then completely relaxing beyond words and perceiving the other person as the other person is beyond your own judgments. Yeah? And so training that. That is a natural result of good meditation practice. So if the mind becomes very calm and happy,
Yeah.
then this becomes more easy.
Yeah.
In the beginning, obviously, it's not so easy. But with time, it gets easier. And with being confronted with that, of course, that has to be part of it too.
So not staying away, but
Yeah.
confront myself.
They are like a measuring tool,
Yeah.
Like a measuring tool. Each time you're spending time with a dishonest person, then notice how you go in resonance. What happens inside? Do you feel still tension? Or are you able to forgive yourself, forgive the other person for just being human beings, little, small, tiny beings that all try to
Make the best out of it.
yeah, like this. If we see it like this, then it's nice. Whatever it comes from the situation of, I have the answers and I am honest and you are not, then we need to be very careful because that is also not honest at all.
No, it's not.
Yes.
So that's my inner struggle.
Yes.
Thank you.
It will slowly resolve itself, you'll see.
And also
Yes.
the question of attachment. So if you go further in resonance, could
Yeah.
you be attached to somebody?
Yes, yes.
I feel I'm
Alright.
attached to the other one being honest. That's what I'm attached to. So
Yes.
that's why I'm struggling when it's not.
Yes.
And that's something I have not yet learned to let go of.
Mm.
Definitely.
It will come, yes. It will come slowly.
Is it correct to also have a code of ethics for yourself?
Yes?
That you want to be with people who are trustworthy and honest,
Yes.
don't betray you, don't hurt you.
Absolutely.
So that's your. So why would you then go towards them again?
The first thing I mentioned was if you cannot handle it, then withdraw. So some people, we cannot handle it. They drive us nuts, They're not so good to spend around them, Or some people very subtly, they kind of influence us. We need to be aware of that too. Yes. So it's very important. Yes, absolutely. We need to have a code of ethics, not to spend time with uninspiring people. And to spend time with people who are inspiring, beneficial, definitely. Absolutely important. Based on that code, however, when your strength grows, when your mindfulness becomes more powerful, then you want to test it. Otherwise, you remain in your belief, I'm above it and beyond it. then meet a dishonest person and see, are you really above it and beyond it? We have to test ourselves. So in that way, our spiritual path remains really honest.
Not necessarily the same person.
It could be the same person. If you really feel that now I got it, I'm totally enlightened, then go to the same person. Go to the same person and see, how is your reaction? Yes, how is your reaction? Of course, that means if you're not getting in some kind of weird, dangerous situation, let's say you have someone who's not only dishonest, but very abusive, then it's not clever to go back there. We're not seeking out pain, right? But if you know it's...
Have a pattern of hurting or they're physically abusive or
Yes.
verbally abusive, and maybe you've given them 3 chances already, you know that they're not going to change.
Yes.
Maybe one day, but what
Yes.
you see so far, and they're very deliberately cruel or whatever, surely it's better to make the decision to stay.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And while you're stepping back, also, it is not us that gives other people a chance, really. It's us that we give ourselves the chance to relax and release tension that we're holding on to. That's about it. But giving other people a chance is not, yeah. Yes.
Change our attitude.
Yes. So it's more like finding peace within yourself and sharing that with other people. That is, I would say, the highest degree of responsibility we can take for other people is our own happiness, taking care of that, and our own honesty, taking care of that. If we ourselves are very honest, then honesty is nothing, is something that flows out of our person into the world. And that is beneficial. It will also attract honest people. It's like this. That's another one, by the way. Also, there is a certain degree of inner dishonesty that we don't want to face that attracts dishonest people, that go in resonance with particularly that aspect of ourselves. So we can ask ourselves, why is it that I keep meeting these kind of people all the time? Where's my attention also with myself all the time? So it can be a tool to understand, like, how is your perception of yourself? And why do you keep meeting these particular kind of people?
Yeah, I think it's more like I set the bar higher.
Yes?
So yeah.
So there's also...
It's not that the people that I meet have changed.
Yes.
It's that I
Set the bar very high.
I've become more strict towards honesty.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is the bar high enough for you to be reaching it?
For me, it's my truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it
And
your
it took
truth?
me a long time to peel off all the layers of dishonesty I had in myself.
Yes.
So sure, I recognize the fear in other people, and I feel very compassionate towards that. That's not a problem.
Mhm.
And I can see their struggles. My inner discussion is: does it mean that I'm getting attached to another person, or to just don't strive to
Yeah.
get that anymore? Just
Yes.
is that the best choice to make, or?
Maybe from the background of what you just said, also it would be a good choice to cultivate equanimity, of seeing that we are equal with other people. Very often, we can put up our bar very high, and also because we are able to reach it and we see people who are not able to reach it, then it becomes this kind of, I'm up here and I'm compassionate with you down there.
Yeah, but that's
And
luckily that's not how I'm feeling, because that's
so you feel
very
exactly,
lonely.
you feel exactly at the same eye level with
Yeah.
dishonest people.
Yeah, it's
That would be important.
for me it's like I discovered this thing, and for me it's wonderful, and I'm very happy.
Hmm.
I don't try to change them, but I can see I was where they are now, and I can see their struggles. And I can see that's the main reason they do the things they do, because I did that
Yes.
back then as well. So, but right now I
Will he match up with your high ideals?
Yeah, well, it's not like matching up, but be in similar energy. I think that's the main thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because it can feel a little bit alienated. I can feel a little bit in this place where very few people are,
Mm-hmm.
and I still have a little hunger for sharing that.
Makes me almost a little bit scared. I feel too imperfect. Being surrounded by you. I feel a little bit, how you say, I would feel too, you are in a place where only very few people are. I'm definitely not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in a place where most people are.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel there's an energy also that you transport.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm in a place that only few people are.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm different.
Mm-hmm.
And that is probably why people around you feel the need for being dishonest,
Mm-hmm.
because they're scared of simply not matching up with your view of them.
That might very well be. Yeah.
It could be.
Yeah.
And seeing that is also important. Therefore, I say it's the development and cultivation of deep equanimity,
Mm-hmm.
of feeling so soft.
Yeah.
It's Ajahn Brahm, he said something very nicely about this actually. He said, there's some people who have a lot of spikes reaching out. And you cannot go close to them because you will always feel inadequate.
Mm-hmm.
You'll feel like, oh, some are very powerful. They're very powerful individuals, You are kind of scared getting close to them. And others, they feel so far down that also you don't really want to spend time with them. So these spikes, they diminish with accomplishment of meditation, because we become so soft that everybody around us feels like, I can be myself. So I don't need to be dishonest. Oh, it's so nice, like how are you with your best friend? Your best friend, you can be totally open. You can sit down on the sofa and fart as loud as you want, and your friend will just laugh about it. There's no problem with it. You know what I mean? There's no trouble with it. I'm talking about men, probably more than women. We all know that women don't fart.
It's like
Yes. So we all know that. So it's a bit like this. You can be so honest and so open that you, with including your seeming mistakes, are loved. You have a great space. It's like, nice. I can just chill out here. I don't have to be anyone that I'm not. Because being dishonest, it means also you're feeling the urge of being someone or portraying someone that you're not. You're not actually that person. I had to struggle with that a lot. I was starting to pick up meditation teachings, etc. Some of the thing that I was struggling with the most was the idea of, I'm a meditation teacher. I have to embody the meditation teacher. And then all these weird kind of ideas came up of what a meditation teacher is like.
It became a new ego.
Oh yeah, so I grew a beard. I wear white clothes. I wear white clothes, I wear like fancy amulets, and I sit on a desk and stuff like this, It's like, oh wow, I'm a meditation teacher. I'm very mystical. I'm very spiritual. I have to always give the right answers. If someone asks me some question, I should not make a mistake. And I put a microphone on there, so guys can hear me. It's even more pressure because even more people will hear me, and so I should not mess up at all. And all of that means I'm dishonest with myself. So there's a whole lot of fear going on underneath that. I hope people don't discover me. So I had this one woman that was asking me a question in one teaching, and I was talking about very high-minded stuff, like very high-minded meditation states, which I have not reached. I just heard about them. And I was talking about them, and then so she dared to ask me, so how about your own experience? Are you as accomplished, you know? And I really took offense with that. And I said, yeah, you know, in our tradition, we don't ask the teacher stuff like this, you know. But I felt so uncomfortable while I was saying that. I felt because it was going against the meditation teacher ideal of being humble. And so many other things. And I should not get angry. I shouldn't have taken it personally. And so all this guilt trip came afterwards. You know, as each time when I'm remembering that, I cringe. I'm like, oh, God, how could I have said that? That's so stupid, you know. Stuff like that, you know. This is dishonesty. And only by becoming honest about that and being able to express that, you know, I do things that everyone does, you know. And I have a mind that we all have. I live a life that we all live. Yes, I do. But I hope it doesn't get out into the microphone anyways, you know. I hope I'm not discovered, you know. So that's why I need to lock the bathroom door every time, you know. Yes.
Sound insulated bathroom.
Yeah. So yeah, it's really important to just really open up, you know, open up to one's farts, you know, and just be honest. You know, I fart, everyone farts. It's fine, you know, people fart. That's what they do. I'm angry, others are angry. I'm dishonest, others are dishonest. It's fine. It's just that human condition, isn't it? So we see how it is and relax. Yes.
And the performance aspect falls away too.
Yes, exactly. We don't have to perform. Yeah.
Just leading on from Erica's, I have exactly the same situation in a way.
Yeah.
So, but is it, if you develop awareness, you develop acceptance, to some level, hopefully you're getting towards not being attached.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your practice. Should the experiences that you've had that have caused you pain, that have caused you to go within, to cause you to grow,
Mm-hmm.
out of that, is it okay to be selective then? Were you saying that, I believe we're all equal, nobody's higher, nobody's lower, we're just different.
Correct. Yes.
But then the process of being a little bit more selective. So if you've got a pattern of always attracting a certain type,
Mm-hmm.
so you address that, you sit with yourself, you say, well, this has happened too many times, so it can't just be that person's fault.
Yes.
So there's two people here, I'm also attracting it,
Yes.
allowing it. So now, from now on, I'm not going to do that. So
Yes.
I also would stay in the single state.
Yes, correct.
Because for me personally, I want to find that one that I feel very connected and check a little bit the dishonesty or the betrayal and these things and see
Yes, sure.
if they have a history of that,
Yes.
whether you know it's real or not. But is it wrong to be selective?
No, not at all. It's not wrong to be selective. You want to spend time with people that are, as I said, inspiring, and so it takes a long time to find out, to test a person.
It's just a very small.
Yes, you see a very small
Well,
facet of them.
It's very small because it's only a few people that are like this. Is that what you
Yes, of course. And also it means that we have very high ideals for ourselves, like very high ideals of perfection, which are like a bit like a prison sometimes. But it's definitely good to open up only to people who are supporting what you do and who rejoice together with you in cultivating what is beneficial and abandoning what is unwholesome. That is definitely good, you know. And
So then it's okay to have that bar.
yes,
To a point where it's healthy
well,
or not.
is it okay? Is it not? It's not really sure, is it? Because sometimes it might be really good for you to have that bar, and sometimes it might be the worst thing, you know.
Might be somebody amazing. who makes you
Yes.
feel happy.
Yes, you never know. The fact is, when it comes to other people, we never know, and they also change. It's not like this guy is dishonest. He always was dishonest. He will always be dishonest. It's not like that. People are very dynamic entities. Everything is very dynamic. It's a process of flux. So in that
If
flux,
you're growing together with a partner or with people that
Yes.
inspire you and
yes,
be able to share the difficulties that you encounter and
Yes.
be vulnerable and grow
Yes.
together.
Yes.
So you could be the catalyst for them beginning to have a transformation, even though they have to do the work.
Oh, I'm not so much concerned with their transformation, to be honest. I'm concerned with mine, because their transformation, their business, not my business. What I can do is I can become more kind, more loving, more open, and another person might enable me to do that for a while, maybe for the whole lifetime, but it will be a temporary time anyways that we spend together with someone. It doesn't have to be perfect through and through, right? There's also moments when it's not so nice, and there's challenges, and so it's very dynamic, difficult to put a rule work on it, because beings change, circumstances change, everything is uncertain. So we can let go and relax and be at peace. And if someone comes along and there's a good vibe, go with it for a while. And if the vibe turns out to be not so good, then maybe it's time to leave, or it's time to carry on a little bit longer and check, But we don't have to figure it out before it happens, because it's impossible. It's uncertain. Also, this is fear, right? Like this idea, like I have to make the perfect decision. It's one decision, and it better be perfect. As we have a huge pressure on ourselves, and then we blame ourselves at the end of the relationship. I should have known. Just another one like that, And then also, why do we? Yeah, and another one. Why do we always attract people like this? It's because of our own mind matching up with them. So there is always this part that is very important to pay attention to, because it's that which is attracting other people to your life.
If we keep doing the same thing, we keep attracting the same thing.
Yes, exactly. Yes. All right. Okay then. It's time. Yeah, well, then so next Thursday at 7 p.m. Adam Meisner will give a teaching, my teacher, so you're all very welcome to come as well and enjoy his talk as well. 7 p.m. on Thursday. All right. Thank you very much for coming. Have a good few days.